Op4 TV. I am your host, Uncle Bill from the BX. Today I'm here with my guy, EV, right here, holding it down straight out the BX.
All day, baby.
Evander Tiger. Hell, he went on to play college ball. You know what I'm saying? I declined. I said, nah, the Army's for me. I'm gonna chill. Y'all can have that. You know what I mean? Straight out the BX. A former member in blue. Now he's out here doing what it takes to get people's head right and support the culture from a different angle, from a different side. The good dude coming out of remotely out of Charlotte, North Carolina. My man Kareem Paranda. What's good, Cool Joe?
Salute.
How
We
you
in
feeling?
the building, baby. I'm excited. I'm here. We in the building. I'm ready to build with you, my brother. Love the work you're doing. See how you rocking. Love your family. Love your commentary. Yo, I'm with you, bro.
Hey, I appreciate it. I thank you, man. And thanks to everybody out there for checking in with us. Yo, the book. How did it all happen? Yo, talk to us about it.
So, Breaking the Code of Silence: A Cop's Journey to Triumph and Truth. Right. You know, it was my therapeutic release. It was a journal. It started off as a journal. I was journaling for about 2 years and following my law enforcement experience. And I was trying to figure out how I ended up in the predicament that I ended up in, right? Because that wasn't my intention. So the book was, or the journaling was an exploration into my past, into how I developed the personality, the value system, the beliefs, and everything else that I was operating according to that set me up to fail at something that I genuinely wanted to do well. And so I ended up putting all my portions of my journal into the book as a case study, as a biography, and also as like recommendations that could be made for law enforcement personnel, administrators, and trainers to educate officers on how to address silent suffering within the profession.
Man, that's perfect, because just to think about that, one of the main things we're seeing in the media right now is law enforcement training, police training. After these school shootings, multiple mass shootings. Hell, we live in America, and unfortunately, there's a mass shooting every day. And for whatever reason, it's frequent in the news cycle right now. But that's a key thing: officer training, and to address the trainers. It's got to be the focus, because if the officers need training to address these situations and these dynamics that we're faced with every day, or they're faced with every day, because I think of it on the military side myself. How do we know what do you feel like is one of the first things that need to be addressed as far as like officers and their mental state?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different variables and complexities when it comes to this stuff, right? You know, we're talking about unpredictability on all levels, right? You know, police officer logs on to do the job. It's a thankless job. It's a job where they're being selfless, willing to give their life for a third person, a person that they don't even know, to stop the quote unquote bad guy, right? And all the while, this officer who's trained is going into an unpredictable situation, an unpredictable stop. A parking dispute can turn into a deadly shooting, right? Because again, of the unpredictability and the volatility of the people that are involved. One of the things I learned, man, after I left the profession was that both people and civilians and police officers, when they come in contact via a traffic stop or an investigative stop or some type of law enforcement initiated call where there's reasonable suspicion or probable cause as to why the officers are on the scene, everybody is typically at a higher level of hypervigilance. So both the civilian who's being stopped in a traffic stop is at a heightened level of hypervigilance, where they're in the either yellow or orange situational awareness mode of, yo, am I going to survive this? Survival mode, if you will. Fight, flight, freeze. Typically, they gonna take flight, typically. And then the officer who's always trained to be in fight mode will go after them. And then it creates a huge misunderstanding there where their fear is now interpreted as resisting arrest or non-compliance or something to that effect. And we already know with the training, when you're in a hypervigilant state, you cannot critically think. You're just trying to figure out, how do I stay alive in this situation that's put me in a fight, flight, freeze state of mind? And so it's hard to legislate that in a split second when there's so much unpredictability. There are people who will faint police officers and act like, they comply. The next thing you know, they got a gun, and then, they could take that officer's life. So, it's a hard coin to flip as it relates to where do we start, what do we do. But at the end of the day, one of the things I significantly believe is lacking in the training is education on mental health. So, you got officers who, for example, you got all these officers that get in trouble. And, I can't omit myself from that. I was one of them who get in trouble, who all pass the psychological evaluations. And we're talking about officers who, get locked up for like selling drugs or doing some weird unethical stuff or breaking the law in some way. These officers passed the psychological assessment to become police officers. And then if let's just say that they did not answer, or let's just say that they did answer the questions in a socially desirable way.
Yeah.
And they were lying, they were able to defeat the exam and get into the profession, or after they got into the profession, their mental health deteriorated so much so that it led to some of those unbecoming behaviors.
I believe that's the case. I believe more often than not, after they get past the training, and you can attest to this, they get the badge, they get the cap and gown, the badge, they get their weapon, they get assigned to a unit. I know in the Army, one of the first things we tell you is, all right, all that stuff in basic, I'm gonna let you know what to keep and what to throw away. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff you learned at, in your schoolhouse training after basic. What do they even teach y'all over there?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That shit don't mean nothing out here.
What they even teach y'all over there? What's going on over there?
Right.
So that's definitely something. But you said something, and I want you to elaborate on it. You said when someone's getting pulled over, they go through their red, yellow, and orange phase. Elaborate on that, because I mean, I think I know what it is, but a lot of people won't.
Situational awareness is where typically people in law enforcement type functions are operating at a level like, there's a white level at the bottom that's oblivious to what's going on around them. Then you go up to the next level, I believe it's yellow, where you have some level of understanding of what's going on around you. You're paying attention to potential threats, and you're getting your mind ready. Orange is like, hey, you identify the threat, and you're taking evasive action. No, that's red. Orange is like, you're anticipating that there's going to be a threat somewhere in the area, and these are the areas where you're in the fight, freeze mode. Okay. Now, again, the brain is wired to chase pleasure and avoid pain. So it's always aligning itself with what's going to keep me alive in this particular moment. So the brain is naturally going to observe the environment and create an appraisal on what's dangerous. And so if the narrative, right, suggests that black dudes with braided beards or locks or whatever is dangerous, then an officer that comes up is like, oh, shoot, danger. This reminds me of that training or that video I saw, and the rap video or something. And this dude, they got guns and drugs. So there must be drugs and guns in the car. So now I got to approach with caution, a higher level of hypervigilance.
Yeah.
And then the person in the car, if they riding dirty or they're concerned that this officer is going to judge them according to these narratives, they're now at a higher level of hypervigilance. And it becomes either a lion and a gazelle. A lion and a gazelle situation.
Man, it's crazy because we're here now, right? And we're talking about, I spent, over 20 years in the military. And I did that pretty much straight out of high school. When did it happen for you? When did you become law enforcement? When did it happen for you? Because growing up where we grew up, this is Evander Childs, baby. We led the nation in dropouts that year, son, 96. We got that. The champs, baby. We were #1 Metro in football, #1 Metro division, and the nation dropouts. We got it.
That's right. That's right. Yo, EV was notorious for people getting box cut up and sliced up and beat up and shot up. It was wild back in the 90s, boy.
Damn, these people have no idea. Being a skinny, big head, light skinned dude, if school starts like in Labor Day, I was like, yo, I got to get at least 2 fights in before like Columbus Day so that they know don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have gangs. We didn't have Bloods and Crips. We didn't have that. It was just neighborhoods.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my mom and dad grew up in Edenwald. I lived on 224 White Plains Road. And, I had my friends to play ball with on Gun Hill Road, my basketball team over there. It was like, yo, I didn't have a real, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have a real home. So, and none of my friends I grew up with, they didn't go to school.
Right.
They would just walk with me to school, look at the building for a little bit. All right, we out of here, bro.
Yo,
All right, you be good. So how did it happen for you, man? What made you? Because where you from? You from like 230? You 230?
Nah. I grew up on Laconia Avenue over there by Eastchester Projects.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I was on that side, yo. So me, Eastchester Projects was like this, and Boston Road, and we was like that. Those were my cliques. You know, what that I rocked with growing up. And yo, when I left New York and I went down south, man, I came down south to play ball. I graduated. I actually met my I want to say my senior or junior year in college. I met the chief of police, who was also a professor at the school that I attended, the HBCU, Livingstone College.
Hey, Livingstone.
Shout
him out again. What's the name of it?
Livingstone College.
Livingstone. All right. Shout out to
Harvard
Livingstone,
South, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I met the chief, and he was a black dude. I think he was the first black dude in that agency's history. I could be wrong, but I believe he was. And so he was so cool, man. And I was always in search of like a male role model, right? Because again, I didn't have that stable male figure. And so he was like the guy. He represented power, he represented intellect, and he had a caring nature about him, man. I said, yo, that's the dude I want to emulate right there. That's the dude who I want to rock with. And so, you know, I talked to him about my interest in potentially becoming a police officer, because prior to that, I wasn't interested in law enforcement like that.
No.
You know, my three options were teaching, social work, or law enforcement. That was the third thing I added to my list after I met him. And, you know, I omitted or I eliminated teaching because I didn't want to stay in the classrooms. I didn't want to be boxed in.
I don't understand how anybody does that, yo. I never like school. And the people that graduate and turn right back around and go right back in, y'all are wild. I love y'all. Thank y'all for what y'all do, because I don't like spending that much time with my kids. I thank y'all for spending time with my kids.
Salute the teachers out there, B. It's a hard job, man.
Man, listen, toughest job in America.
Heck yeah. Social work at that time, with my ego the way it was, I'm like, yo, that's for like, yo, soft people and girls. I ain't doing that. That's totally inconsistent with who I thought I was back then. I said law enforcement. This is the perverted mindset that I had back then was, yo, I could knock motherfuckers out and I could also mentor people, mentor kids. You know what? I'm gonna go with law enforcement. That's what my ego was telling me back then, man. And again, you know, these are things that like, yo, I transparently share because it's a reality, man. This is the unspoken truth that a lot of people are carrying, but won't talk about it, especially in law enforcement or tough guy professions where, you know, you have this ego and machoism and all that other stuff kicking in. The ego will lie to you. And I've learned from my journey that you will lose way more than you gain rocking with your ego.
Oh, 100%.
All areas of your life.
100%. Man, at one point in time, my ego within my career would have me think I need to say something to address every situation that I come across.
Yep, that's ego.
I'll be 44 years old next month. I hear people at work talking all kinds of crazy. I'll come out, look, and sit my dumb ass back down. At one point in time, I'll be like, I need to talk to you. And I feel like I need to address every circumstance. And you carrying all of this baggage.
Yeah.
Their ego will have you carrying all of this baggage. Whole time, your ego is legit frail.
Yeah.
Your ego is not even strong. Fact. You thinking it's strong because you may be, you know, 30 years old, 35 years old, and you feel like you have so much experience, especially at the age of 35 for people in careers like ours. A lot of times, 35, someone 35 may be on the force for like 10 years, 12 years. You know what I'm saying? Someone in the military at 35 is towards the end of their career. A 35-year-old is a senior ranking enlisted member. And then at 35, I look back at myself at 35 now, and I was like, yeah, okay, I could, you know, I was a functional adult, somewhat an adult. Come on, fam. I was a little retarded. A little retarded still, you know what I'm saying? I gotta put some of that on you because of football days, man. You gave me CTE and those nutcracker drills, yo. I'm not gonna.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure I got some of that shit too, my nigga. All them head ups I did with people. Hell yeah.
I'll never forget Lincoln. We was killing them, yo. We ran that trap up the middle, and you was just you and the safety got all the way down. He and you could have just ran around him, but it's still you was like, nah, you gotta die.
I said, I'm gonna get him, son. Yeah, man.
Man, shouts out to all the young athletes out there, all the football players out there, the future football players out there. Shouts out to Evander Childs, my man. What's my man over there coaching? What's his name? Oh man,
Azari Presley.
Yes, sorry, Coach Azari, Coach Press. Shouts out to those guys, man. Hey, again, I want to thank you and appreciate you. This Op4 TV. Everybody go out there, just go in Amazon and write in the name Kareem Paranda. Kareem Paranda, and you're gonna see all of my man's good content, all my man's good work out there. We got a dude that really put in the work, put in the hard time, the energy and effort, a good family man, someone who loves and cares for the community. Please tell me you're gonna come back.
All day. You already know, fam. This just yo holler. I'm here.
Hey, I appreciate it again. It's Op4 TV. Any last words? Anything you want to shout? Anybody want to shout out?
Yo, the main thing I want to leave you, the audience, and myself is give yourself permission to make yourself better, make your best better, but make sure you do it with balance. Albert Einstein said this: you cannot solve a problem with the same thinking that created it. So give yourself permission to change. Stress left unaddressed creates a mess. Find a counselor.
Hey, I'll put all your contact information down here on the screen. Make sure people reach out to you, and they again support this brother's books. We got black men that are out here educating, black men out here providing, making things happen, protecting their families. Hey, I love you, bro. Pretty good. And we'll hit you up.